today. So every day we start fresh because we can't affect the past, but we damn sure can make a difference today.
We're back with episode 68 of Shop Talk. It's Jennifer.
And Kari.
And we're discussing 506 of The Rookie and 105 of Rookie Feds. So we do have a little bit of news. The Rookie Feds have a new episode description for 107 titled Countdown. This episode airs on November 15th. So we're taking a break for November 8th because it's election day in the US. And it says, while searching for a missing scientist in the Angeles National Forest, Simone and Carter uncover an eco-terrorist plan to detonate dirty bombs across the city. Meanwhile, Brendan taps into his own profiling tactics to find the perfect birthday gift for Laura. And I just know that Kari is literally dying inside right now.
Oh my God. Stop it. Because we're actually going to get another birthday in the Rookie universe. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Okay,
I literally be completely wrong though. It's going to be wrong and then she's going to give him shit for it.
Yeah, but either way, that's so good. Are you kidding
No, I
me?
know. I hope it is right. Like, I don't doubt him, but just like, I feel like, or like she's going to try to like trip him up or something. Oh God. Yeah. There's so many. I'm just running with this now. It's fine. Don't worry about me. Well, actually, you might have to.
I also love that they're like bringing back the mention of his profiling tactics because Mark in the last episode or whatever like had mentioned that. So yeah, it's good to see. But yeah. So we get Brensen and Carter and Simone again. Yay! Oh I mean, they're like our main pairings, but
they're like always like Carter and Simone are like out like trekking like wherever across the globe, and then like Brensen's just like stuck at the station. Let me like, you know, have all this interpersonal like business happening. Like, I mean, I'm here for it, but it's just so funny. It's like same thing, like same. I don't even know what the saying is. Like same.
It's like same story, different day.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Or like different genre or whatever the heck it is. Like, I don't know.
But, like, yeah. I'm not against it, but I'm also just like,
it's just funny.
Okay, can we just like maybe switch places? I don't know. I would also kind of like to see like Carter and Brendan and Laura and Simone like work together to solve the case more so than just like have a scene or two.
Yeah. That'd be fun for sure. But yeah.
Yeah.
Here for it.
Yep.
Here for it for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Kari will just like be losing her mind during the Brensen stuff, but you know, it's fine.
I usually do.
Everyone say a prayer for her. Jump right into the episode because there's a lot. Do you want to start off with the bank call for the rookie?
Yeah. So of course we had like a classic cold open, which is always fun to see. I just thought it was funny because it's like it was like someone that was kind of dressed like a cowboy and had a bunch of knives. Like the knives like went on for like a full minute. It was like so funny. And I honestly never knew there were like that many kinds of like variety of knives that you could have. I was like, dude, why? Like it was just classic, and I enjoyed like the, you know, like it kind of, I don't know, like at least lately it kind of feels like it's going back to like season 1 or like season 2 vibes a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, lately in certain aspects of episodes, and so I don't know, it was just fun, so I figured I'd include it since it was John and Selena, of course, had that call. It was just funny though, because like Nolan really did like most of it. Like Selena was just kind of like hanging back, like, okay, I'll just kind of wait so I can put the guy in the shop, and like they like barely did because they still kept having more knives to deal with. It was ridiculous. But anyway, like their main case doesn't start until a little bit later. Poor Selena's like super tired and is like yawning, and like they're at the station getting like the war bags for the day and stuff, and like she's telling Nolan how like her REM cycle's off, but it wasn't like this at the academy. And then John, being John, you know, gives his like 2 cents like he always does, and like, you know, about how he and his ex tried to get like Henry to sleep and like, you know, did the swaddling technique and all those other things. And Selena's like, Yeah, I don't really think any of that applies to me. And like it really doesn't. So like I don't but um
It was so
it
good. I love their dynamic.
mhm. Yeah, well, because then like cut to the next part, right? And like she's like going on about these like, ways to kind of like create a relaxing environment, like set the thermostat, have all these like, like relaxing scents and things. And then like while she's rattling those off, like she's driving and no one's like red light, red light, red light, like trying to like interject it. And then like she almost does like she doesn't really notice, but she like barely manages to stop in time. And that's why he's like, yeah, no, I'm driving now. And that's when they get the bank call. So I'm assuming John like drives them over to the bank.
Which,
And
like, so I was tweeting that last night and I was like, wait, wasn't she not supposed to drive for like the first 6 months of
I
her
mean,
rookie period?
I don't know, because I don't know if that was just like a
Like a
everyone
first
got
date
mad at
thing?
Nolan. Yeah, because like on the first day, like nothing went right. So then it was just kind of like, don't let her drive again.
Yeah.
Um, or if that is like a probationary, like prohibited thing.
I don't know. I just thought about it last night and I was like, wait, now granted, we don't know like time jump in this, but like
Mhm.
also, isn't she not supposed to drive? Like, I don't know. I just thought that was interesting.
So we're assuming Nolan drove them to the bank. This is where, well, there's like a woman named Macy Tompkins, and she's like at the bank and tried to deposit some bills, but like the bank's alarms went off because they're, I guess, connected to a law enforcement investigation. Macy insisted, she's like, I got them from someone after I had a garage sale. Like they, she made $1,000 on this handbag, and like John turns to Selena, is like, can you start a card? And she like already dozed off. It was so funny. But she wakes up in a couple of seconds. She's like, yep. And he's like, welcome back. And I was like, oh, I just thought that was funny. Um, and like, so it kind of, I don't know, the episode really just like cut like interspersed scenes a lot
Yeah.
this week. And so it was like we don't immediately see the next part, but they're like a couple of scenes later, they're called to, well, like literal dumpster fire with the LAFD, like Bailey's there and everything. And there's money that's been burned, and Selena makes that, like not quite a joke because it's like a literal observation of this woman had money to burn. And I just thought it was funny. She's like, I'm really tired. I'm sorry. Like
Yeah.
she was just trying to play it off. Which I mean, I don't know. It kind of that definitely is kind of like a like Lucy or like season one Nolan thing to do.
Yeah.
Like try to
Oh
make
yeah,
like a
for
joke
sure.
and like play it off if it like wasn't that, like
Yeah.
funny. Even though I mean like I appreciated it. Like I
Yeah.
thought it was good. Um but anyway, so like they're kind well, like Nolan's guessing that um like the burnt cash is from like an old like crime because like there's like a tracking device on it that's like at least like 10 or 15 years old because like the new ones are all like microchipped and have GPS and all this stuff, and this one just looks like an older one. It does end up being DEA because like Nyla and Angela pull John and Selena into a meeting with Xavier, and he's a DEA agent whose old partner, Robert Buckley, set up a buy with a mid level dealer named Winslow Harris. But no one knows like what happened after the deal until they found Robert's body later, but like no one knows like what happened like in between that time. And he hasn't, and Xavier's been like searching for these answers for like a decade. So he's glad that like there's at least something to like kind of like jumpstart things again.
Hmm.
Um, and so they're driving to go kind of um, see like what's up with because they have to figure out how like Macy connects to Winslow. So like they're thinking, okay, maybe we just like dig into her life and dig deeper into it.
Yeah.
Um, and like as they're driving, Selena kind of has a hunch that like Xavier and Rob are like more than friends, and um, she ends up being right. And like I think I think it was Amanda on Twitter maybe that had pointed out like the partner line like reminded her of like
Mm-hmm.
Chicago PD and like the
Yeah.
Rojas thing. I was like,
And the
yeah,
fact,
that was my
so
first
then
thought too.
I caught on to the fact that like Xavier and him like met in intelligence too.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, my PD loving heart.
Yeah,
Oh, we could have
yeah,
had it all. I'm not still bitter at all about it. It's
yeah,
fine. No big deal.
yeah. Um, yeah, so I just thought that was kind of like, and it was just interesting to have that like little, not even really a parallax or different universes, but whatever, we're rolling with it
Hmm.
here. That's what we do. Um, and so they're going over to Macy's like super luxe apartment. Um, and you like find that the door's open. So they like go in and she's dead inside the apartment. And so they're like coming through the scene. Um, Xavier finds it's like a kind of like necklace um that like matches the one that like Harris like, used to wear. And so he's like, okay, like I'm betting it's like his. So they really have to like dig down even deeper and like tear Macy's life apart to like find Winslow so they can like find that like major connection so they can track him
Yeah.
down. I guess the major, well, another break in the case is that they like combed through Macy's computer and it was discovered that she was on a Sugar Babies website. So like that might be how she met Harris. Although really, though, I mean, honestly, Selena's dream is kind of what like really cracked open the case, though, which was so
Hmm.
funny that she just like I don't know. Again, this is why I could not be an actor because like when Lisette was delivering those lines, I was just cracking up
She was like
completely.
so dead serious about it.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
like, how do
Oh,
you say? Because she's like, I had a dream that Winslow was a showgirl in a diamond bra, and they were, we were dancing the
uh-huh.
tango, and then like I just became really thirsty.
Yeah.
And then I woke up and I'm just like, how do you say all that? Like it literally makes no sense. And then
Yeah.
I mean, like, because she was at, and you'll get into it, obviously, she was at Nolan's
Hmm.
house. And then like she had Bailey kind of, like inferring things. It was just so funny.
So good.
Yeah. Um, and I mean, and John being John, this is how they, he has to roll with these things now. But they do their due diligence. They check up on this like kind of theory. Um, it proved to be somewhat helpful because they know that since like he used to, he was around boats and like sailed the coast a lot. Um, that obviously maybe it has to do like the like water connects to that, which then also apparently connects to Macy's credit card statements, like pointing to the marina. Um, and Xavier's like, well, I would have heard about it if he got like back into the trade. Um, and so then Nyla's like, well, maybe he got like a legit job there. And then they had said kind of, the relationship between like Macy and Winslow had to be like legit too, because that would
Yeah.
explain how he got into her apartment to like kill her. Um, and I love how Nyla was just like pointing out, she was like, the pier is like a lot. Like we can't cover
Yeah.
all that area. But apparently like Macy's like card like landed a lot at like Pier 9, like that area. So they go there first. Well, Xavier, Selena, and John do. Um, and like, I mean, backup was supposed to come. Why didn't
Right.
like it like
Why didn't Nyla and Angela
yeah, like
go?
I thought they were gonna be the backup, but no,
Yeah.
I was like, where were they? I was like, what?
I never thought of that until now, and I was like, yeah, where were they? I feel like they're not out in the field as much
Yeah.
anymore. And I don't know, I don't like that, but I'm also
Well,
like
I guess
keep
maybe Angela
being
was at the
badasses.
deposition still. They're dealing with that, and then Nyla was
Yeah.
dealing with Halloween thing. I don't know. They
Yeah.
have their own stuff. But still, I was like, where's backup regardless of who it was? But anyway,
Yeah.
you gotta do what you gotta do. And
Yeah.
so like it's the three of them, um, versus, one of Winslow. Um, they do eventually spot him. He's like trying to like pack things up and like get ready to like, escape in this like random blue like van. And I'm like, dude, why? Like,
Hmm.
no. Like he's
Yeah.
literally like out in the middle. I'm like, that's not a good hiding spot. Like he
Yeah.
tried, but he failed miserably.
Yeah.
Um, so they do end up like getting into a standoff with him. It was very, this also kind of reminded me of PD though. You know how you get like the one person like getting the
Uh-huh.
suspect talking and stuff, and then
Yeah.
you get like the other few like coming around the back to like
Yeah.
sneak attack, like surprise them or whatever. So that's kind of what they did. Um,
Yeah.
with like John and Selena going around. Um, and then Xavier and Winslow were like exchanging words and things. But like that method did allow Xavier to like put the cuffs on Harris himself and like get that like, vindication for his partner.
Hmm.
Um, and so it had like a nice wrap up because as Xavier like was telling them later that like, he was good after, the words Winslow and consecutive life sentences were said. So
Hmm.
justice was served there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it ended up being a bank, like a bank call turned into a cold case
Uh-huh.
in a way.
Yeah, like
It
I
was
didn't know how to like type it out in the outline. I
crazy.
was like, this isn't like a bank heist, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, it was just, I felt like this episode was kind of like all over the place because, like you
Yeah.
said, there weren't like very, like the transitions, like the scenes were interspersed. So I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it was similar to one from last year, from last season, and I don't remember which one. I feel like maybe it was the Halloween one, but I could be thinking of a different one. But
Oh gosh. Halloween one last year was the zombies
yeah,
and that
maybe.
crazy medicine
Uh-huh.
and the clip talk thing.
Last year's Halloween episode felt more like a Halloween episode, maybe because it was actually on Halloween. I don't know, but
Yeah.
like I saw screenshots of today of this episode like on Twitter today being Monday, and I was like, I didn't even notice the pumpkin decorations like on Angela's
Oh,
desk and stuff.
I noticed the
So
pumpkins. I noticed the spider web, the bats, and the pumpkin.
yeah, I
Goodness.
noticed the bats, but
I don't know. I'm still like, I don't really know what like the major plot twist was.
yeah. I felt like this episode, like everyone was just like running around and like just
Yeah,
kind of doing their own thing.
like I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, that was that part of the episode.
Yeah.
So,
So now we have Wesley and Elisha. So Wesley's like sitting at the kitchen table thinking about something, and Angela's like, yeah, so we're still on for date night, right? Like we've got the sitter, we're good. And she's, asking if he's worried about the deposition, and Wesley's worried that Elijah could like walk. And Angela's, just reassuring him that that won't happen. Like they can depose her, Gray, and half the Mid-Wilshire station, and it won't change who Elijah is. So like Wesley's still just kind of like iffy about it. And he's just like, yeah, I just wish I knew more about the strategy, and like I don't even know who Elijah's defense attorney is. Um, and apparently the DA's office has a firewall between him and anything regarding Elijah. And Angela just mentions how it's a RICO case, and so like everything against Elijah is solid, and they're like they'll be desperate to find something that will change that. And Wesley's like, yeah, but the fact that it's a RICO case worries me because anyone who's involved in the organization is on the hook, and Wesley was part of that. And Angela's like, yeah, but you were under duress. So like technically, yes, you were a part of the organization, but you didn't do it at your own free will. Um, so then Wesley like gets to work and he sees Monica, finding out that she's Elijah's lawyer. And Wesley's like, telling her that it's a mistake. She doesn't want to be involved with him. And she's like, well, I've got him on an $800 an hour month or whatever retainer. Like, I'm good. And so she leaves to like make a quick call, and Del Monte asks Wesley how he knows her. And it turns out that they went to law school together, and Del Monte's like, really, what should we know about her? And Wesley's like, well, she's smart and she's ruthless, and we used to be engaged, so she also knows that. I felt like the plot twists were just coming like all over the place with Wesley in this episode. I was like, I
So
was
maybe it
not
was
expecting
Wesley.
that.
Maybe that's
Yeah,
how the promo like
yeah.
misdirected us. Because, like, I mean,
It said
people
there
on
was
Twitter already
mayhem.
figured out like Chris was in the scene, which I
Hmm.
didn't even catch on to like while watching the promo anyway.
Yeah,
So
the promo was saying like mayhem. I was like, this seems like a pretty tame episode. I mean, even with the Wesley stuff, I was like,
I
okay,
mean, Selena kind of caused a little bit of mayhem with
yeah,
her sleepiness,
yeah.
but I
But
don't
yeah,
know.
I don't know. I feel like the promo did kind of bait us a little bit. I feel like that's what promos though are meant to do. So yeah. But when Monica leaves to make a quick call, like Del Monte asks how he knows her, and then so we see Monica deposing Wesley, and she's asking how he got involved, and like she wants him to paint her a picture, as she says, mainly wanting him to spill that she went straight to his wife and didn't go through like the rigmarole of opening a case with the LAPD. Like he didn't start at the front desk, he just like went right in to who he needed to talk to. And so she questions the sting operation, and she's like, it was allowed to proceed under like such a, obvious conflict of interest. And Wesley's like, well, we had a mutual interest in the truth.
Yeah.
And the way that he said that, I was just like, yes, like you go, dude. They were like so sassy with their stuff. Lopez.
I just like couldn't stop looking at his eyes. Like his eyes
Yeah.
were very blue in
Yeah.
all the like deposition
Yeah.
scenes. And I was like, okay, I should be focusing, but I just am staring at Sean's face.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah. Listen,
But no, I
I
mean,
won't
like
I won't I
he
won't
stood his
deny that.
ground though. He stood his
Yeah.
ground and like, but it was just kind of weird though to like see someone like be like up there in like arguments with like Wesley
Yeah.
because it's like only ever like
It was interesting to see him like being questioned as if he
yeah
was not a lawyer. That was the
yeah
thing. I was like, okay, this is different. But
yeah
yeah. So then she's like, well, is it common for detectives to work cases involving relatives? And he's like, no, it's not. But like, this was a different situation. So she asks who Arthur Andrews is, and he witnessed a murder committed by one of Elijah's relatives, and Wesley represented Arthur as a favor to Elijah. So like Monica brings that up. And Wesley's like, well, I was threatened, but yeah, sure, whatever. And so he could have questioned Arthur in his office, but it was more convenient to do it at home. And so Monica obviously like she's looking for every way that she can spin this. She tries to spin it that like he wanted to intimidate Arthur and didn't want any witnesses. But that actually wasn't why. And Wesley's like, well, I went there after Elijah ordered me to, and undermine Arthur's credibility. So Wesley states more facts on Elijah, and Monica goes back to the fact that Wesley called in a tip about an illegal firearm in Arthur's home and how the tip like saved his life. So Monica again tries to spin it back to Wesley, saying that his client went free because he damaged the witness's reputation, which I guess, I mean, I can kind of see like Elijah brought that up at the end. I don't know. I was like, why can't we just believe Wesley here? Like, I know that it's for sake of drama and like we have to like kind of draw this out, but like, why can't we just believe Wesley? Like, Monica knows him. She knows she knows that he's a good guy. Well, I don't know, he cheated on her, but that's a whole other story. So then Monica brings up their 5-year relationship, and Wesley like storms out. And so Del Monte follows Wesley, and he's like, don't focus on her. The facts are on our side. And he's like, listen, I gotta ask how it ended, like just because I want to know where things could go. And Wesley's like, well, right out of law school, like she targeted the most powerful firm, and like I rented a space next to the aquarium. Like we just had different goals in mind. And so later in the episode, Wesley's at the bar and Monica shows up. Like I wonder, that wasn't the bar that they were gonna go to for date night. So like how did she know that he was gonna be there?
I don't know.
Like,
I'm just gonna assume it's like close by, like,
yeah,
or something, or if it's like, I don't know if it's like supposed to be the same bar he went to in like 210,
yeah.
209.
I don't know. I just have
I
questions when it's
don't know.
random little stuff like that.
But yeah, it was odd.
So then she sees whiskey and she questions it, and they hash it out more, argue and everything. And so he tells her once again that Elisha is dangerous, and she's like, I think I can handle him. Like, I've got this. Angela then walks up, and Monica's like, oh, it's great to meet you, Detective Lopez. And Angela's like, and who are you? And then Monica leaves. She's like, I'll let you two like talk this out or whatever. And so Wesley's like, it's not a big deal. Like, she's just the lawyer representing Elijah. And he's like, and by the way, we used to date. Actually, it was more than that. We were engaged for about a year. And then he hits us with another plot twist, and he's like, and I blew it up. I cheated on her with a coworker. And like we cut over to Angela, and you can just see her eyes like all glassy, and she's like, well, so much for date night. And I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, okay, when we first met Wesley, or like when we first met Patrice, did we know that he was engaged before? Because I can't remember that.
No.
Okay. So this was just like learn more about Wesley night,
I mean,
pretty much.
Angela like thought like way back in season one or whatever that Wesley was cheating on her, but it turned out to be
Yeah.
because he was taking his stepmom out to dinner or whatever on Valentine's
Yeah.
Day. So
Yeah.
like that didn't turn out to be anything, and it was, yeah, it was never like, nothing ever like that was brought up again.
Yeah. Ugh, I was just like, okay, I don't remember if we learned this about Wesley or not, but like, wow, are we
Not that
getting
I
hit
can
with the
think of.
plot twist?
Yeah. So I'm just going with that was the plot twist because I was like, pardon. I
Yeah.
was like, what?
Well,
Wesley did that? Okay.
when it was said that he was first engaged, I was like, okay, I can like look past that because look at where he is now. And then it was like he cheated on her, and I was like, say what? I was literally that dog gif of like him kind of looking to the side and like, kind of turning over or like
No.
moving over. Um, and the rookie rewatch had tweeted like shop talk, and they were like, Jennifer, did you like what do you think of this? And I was like, listen, I'm not a fan of it, but I still love Wesley Evers. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what can I do?
Yeah.
It's like me and Will Halstead in bed. Like the dude does stupid things, but I can't
Mm-hmm.
deny him. So yeah.
Yep.
So then Angela is talking to Monica the next day, being deposed, and Angela, Monica like kind of starts off with small talk, and Angela just cuts it short. And so Monica's going through the facts, and she's like, I would keep a close eye on him, but Angela's like, I don't have to because I trust my husband. And so Monica tells her that Merritt's killer is prepared to testify that Wesley paid him to commit the murder. And Angela cuts her off again, saying like she knows that didn't happen because he's not a killer, Elijah is. And so Monica lays it out what she thinks, and they start arguing, and then Del Monte just suggests taking a break, and Monica's like, yeah, we need to talk in your office. And so we see Monica threaten that if they take it to trial, she will drag the DA's office through the mud. And so Wesley and Angela are then like talking in his office, I'm assuming. And he's like, I was a different person back then. I was just trying to follow my dad's footsteps. Big office, like fancy job or whatever. And he was miserable. And so he's like, it was a stupid way to blow up a life that would make me unhappy, but I did what I did. So then he reassures her that he would never cheat on her, and she's like, oh, I know you wouldn't. It's because you're afraid of me. I loved that line because I was like, that is classic Lopez.
When it like calls back to like Chenford when they're talking in the shop or whatever, and it's like, we
Yeah.
like Wesley because we fear Lopez. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, and it also goes back to like Angela and Nyla talking about like,
Yeah.
how they're both like terrifying to
Yeah.
other people.
And I mean, it even goes back to last episode when, Angela's brothers were like, he's a brave man. And Wesley's like, no, it's because I know that she like loves people close to her or whatever. But then Wesley's like, no, it's because I love you. And I don't know. It just Lopez. Like that's all. That's all that I can say is Lopez.
Hmm.
Um, so then Del Monte comes in and he tells them that they're dropping the case against Elijah.
I was like,
And
wow, way to ruin a moment. There's a lot of
yeah,
that. There's a couple more times of that going on
literally Del
this
Monte and
episode.
Chris need to learn how to read the room. Like they're
Apparently,
lawyers, they're smart enough.
must just be a DA thing.
Yeah, but like Wesley doesn't ruin the moment.
Well, yeah, because he's the exception to the rule.
Wesley is the smart one in the DA's office. Like Chris and Del Monte need to learn how to read the room here.
I mean, we have like nothing like majorly against them, but it was just I was just like, really? I was like, come on.
Yeah.
Like you guys are killing me here.
I was like, listen, we don't need any more moments ruined here. Especially by Chris, but like that's another story. We'll get there. So
Sorry, I just had realized that. I was like, wow, he ruined that moment and Christopher and Chenford's. I was like, dang.
yeah, yeah, they just need
Anyway,
to
continue.
go away. Um, so then Del Monte's, Lopez is like, no, what do you mean? Like, we're dropping this case. And so Del Monte's like, there's just too much risk trying to take it to trial. And Wesley's like, well, I put my family in danger. So, and now we're dropping it? Like, what the heck? And Del Monte's just like, well, we're playing the hand that, you dealt us, Wesley. Which, like, what does that mean? He's playing the hand that Wesley dealt them. What, like Wesley screwed up the case, so they're just not taking it to trial?
Well,
Like
just
it
like
just
there's probably, I mean, because like remember like last season when like he was kind of already like on the fence about even doing a Rico case anyway. Like they knew it was a big
yeah,
gamble, I think, and so it's just like just the way, just based on how the depositions went,
yeah,
and what like with what happened with like both of them, I just feel like there's maybe like too many holes that were poked,
yeah,
and he just didn't want to risk it. But that just like sucks though, because it's like you would think you'd want to help out your coworker, but I mean,
yeah,
we see that on other, well, at least I see it on like other courtroom shows where it's like, you have to take like the win as a whole, not like just for, one person it might help. So
yeah, yeah. It was just, I was like, dude, you're literally saying what Monica just said, but okay. So then Wesley's like walking out of the office at the end of the episode, and Elisha gets out of the car. I mean, at this point, I was like, okay, we had seen Brandon's name like come up on the screen,
yeah.
and we hadn't seen him yet. So I was like,
Well,
oh man, he's showing up
well, I
at
didn't realize it was gonna be right at the end. And like they
yeah,
like faded out, like they had the car go away and
yeah,
then it faded to black. I was like, that's clever.
yeah,
But also my jaw was still like dropped the whole time. It was like I was watching like their first scene again. It was still like tense.
yeah,
Like we did the music again. I was like, shit. I
yeah,
hate I hate, but I love scenes like that are
yeah,
so tense and
yeah. So then Elisha like reminds him that he always wins, and Wesley's like, you really think that this is over? Like, no. And Elijah says that Wesley messed up his case so bad, so he thinks that he has a 2-year pass, and coming after him would be unseemly given how compromised him and the LAPD look. And Wesley's like, well, don't count on that. But Elijah's like, I'm untouchable, gotta go, see you later. Like, I have other business to take care of. So that's where we leave off on the Wesley and Elijah stuff. And we don't know when it picks back up because the episode descriptions for the next few episodes do not say anything about Elijah. So, yeah. But I also feel like the episode descriptions have been not vague, but just very like short lately. Like
yeah.
they don't say anything about Chenford. One,
Yeah.
because they don't
So
want to give away
that,
Chenford, but like also,
yeah. Hence why
yeah.
we never got any promo pics for this episode.
No, but we did get 2 sneak peeks
That's
and
true.
they were both Chenford,
That's
so
true. It's a
I'll take
trade-off.
it. I'll take
Mhm.
it.
Mhm. Yep. Speaking of, perfect
Yeah.
segue into Chenford.
Oh my God, they are so freaking loud. I can't deal with them.
I can't though because Aaron, not that I don't love Chenford, but like literally Aaron was my favorite part of the
Yeah.
Chenford, because like he was like stuck in the middle. Like Aaron
Oh, poor
was
Aaron.
to Chenford how like Selena was
To
sort of
Bailan.
like to Bailan. Yeah.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
they were just stuck
Oh
in
my
the
God.
middle, and I was just
Yeah.
like, this is so bizarre, but yet it was hilarious in
And
both.
they're like the two newbies. I loved it. I loved
Yeah, it
it
was
so
just,
much.
oh my God, it was just funny. Yeah.
Aaron just like cracked me up. And every episode that he is in this season, I just love him even more. I really do.
Yeah. And I feel like just like they just like bring a lot of like True into the
Yeah.
role, because it's like they talked about like short films, and True's done like a lot of shorts,
Yeah.
and like he's just able to bring like the comedy to it,
Yeah.
which I think is just fun. Um yeah, so obviously it like for like this part it like starts off with the sneak peek that we already saw.
Hmm.
Um and I just thought it was like again, I don't know if I'm sure it's just Eric being Eric, but it's just so funny how he just like blatantly like walked away in the middle of Aaron's sentence. Like when
Yeah.
he brings up the Ashley thing, I was like, dude, that's so rude. But like also it was so funny.
It's such a Tim Bradford thing.
Yeah.
Because
I
I
mean,
feel
of course,
like even in like Brolin scenes,
yeah.
he would do that.
Yep. Yeah.
Such a Tim Bradford thing.
Yeah. And I just like, of course, he was already kind of like pushing it a little bit, because he was like, it was an old bullet. Like, I'm fine. Because Aaron was like, should you really be like out and about right now? Um, so obviously, like, yeah, Tim doesn't want to like talk to anyone about anything or do anything like but his job for the day. Because even when like Lucy's like, hi, good morning, in her, usual like cheery tone, Tim's like all awkward and like a little bit just like off, because he like greets her and Chris by their last names. Um, and Lucy then tries to ask, like, what's up with him? And Aaron's like, well, he just has a lot going on. And then he's like, okay, well, what's going on? And he's like, I'm fine. He's fine. Everything's fine. Lucy's like, wait, Aaron, like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm so sorry, I gotta go. Like
Yeah.
he just did not. He just knew that he like said too much, and like
Uh-huh.
needed to just like go before he
Oh my God.
did worse.
His line of being like, I'm so sorry, I have to go now.
Yeah.
Quite possibly one of my favorite things that he's ever said. Like, I don't know, it was just like so serious and
Yeah.
polite. And he was just
Mhm.
like, I gotta go. Like that sound that we did with Nolan and the grenade last season.
Uh-huh.
Pretty much that for Aaron
Yeah,
Thorson.
kind of. Yeah. Yep. Um,
So good.
yeah. And like, I mean, even like later he like tries to talk about it again, like when they're driving like
Uh-huh.
in the shop or whatever, and he's like, in terms like, I really don't want to talk about it. And he's like, okay, like I'm not like shutting up now.
Yeah.
Um, and like Aaron's trying to be a friend, he's like, well, I'm here, if you ever, do need to, and just like trying to be nice, and Tim's just still just like shutting that down real quick. He's like, no, let
Yeah.
me be like broody, and like whatever, just let me be in this mood. Um, and so like as they're driving, I guess they kind of stop, because well, they just randomly is like werewolf, and then they stop, and it's this werewolf like prop that this woman who's a short film director is like trying to like get back into the bed of her truck, and she needs to like go, and she like is gonna lose location in an hour if she doesn't like get there, so she can you know do what she needs to do for her film. And so like while they're stopping to help, like this is when Tim sets his radio down after he calls like code 6. And I loved how like they both, well, like Aaron tried to lift it first, like just him, because he knew like Tim had just had the
Mhm.
major surgery, even though Tim's like, it
It
was
wasn't
not major
major.
surgery, I can do it, I'm fine.
And they literally
um
operated near his spine.
yeah,
Like,
I'm like, dude,
that's major surgery. He was paralyzed.
yeah, I'm like,
Oh, Timothy.
dude, just really can't um be bothered. And it just like, oh my god, it is just so funny. I still couldn't, even like with the closed captions on, I really couldn't make out what they were saying when they were both lifting the thing. I was like,
Yeah.
it's a bunch of incoherent like gibberish, but it was just so funny because the one thing obviously that they did clearly state was the woman was like, do you guys like need me to like no, like we
Yeah.
got it. And I mean they did get the werewolf back in the truck. And like Aaron, I mean, like he was trying to like talk to the woman, like, you know, sort of get info, but then also mostly flirt with her. So that like he didn't actually end up getting her number because she turned him down for a date. So then, you know, when Tim can't find his radio in the shop later, he's like, well, did you get her number? He's like, almost. And he has like a little bit of a smirk, like he was the smirking emoji a little bit. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
Aaron, we see you.
Oh,
Like,
Aaron.
swing and a miss.
Love him.
But that's okay.
I love him. And his confidence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. And so a little bit later, the woman's like driving, and like Lucy happens to be there doing what I don't really know.
She was like she was like finishing up a traffic stop or something.
I don't know. It was just like really weird because it was like half like she was like half in frame, like
Yeah.
half out of frame. So it was focusing on the
But like
pickup truck coming the other direction.
also how I mean, I guess Lucy could have been from a different district and still like known Tim, but
yeah,
I don't know. It was just like, yeah, coincidence.
Apparently, but you know, had to get the Chenford crumbs in there somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so she's like, I don't really know like who to talk to, but I have this radio. Like, you know, two police officers like stop and help me with this thing, and like one of them left the radio behind, and she was like, do you know who they were? And she's like, well, one of them looked exactly like the guy from the murder documentary, and then there was a brooding one. Lucy's like brooding. She's like, Tim Bradford, super cop, left his radio. And then she just like goes on to this like tangent of like, you know,
Yeah.
this is the same guy that once, you know, yelled at me for being 3.5 minutes late to roll call. And then the woman, I don't even think we got her name, did we? The woman in the red
I don't
pickup
think
truck.
so.
Okay.
But she was just like, I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah,
so.
she's like, Lucy was like, can you believe that? And she's like, I guess. Like she's like, I don't know what else to say.
I just thought of a great meme idea.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah. I'm sure it'll be coming later in the week, guys.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah.
But she was just like, oh, this is like Christmas. And she's like, okay, cool. So you're gonna get it back to him, right? And she's like, yeah, I'll take care of it. You have a nice day. And then she just kind of walks away. Like that was it. Like she was done. Like, you know, she has the radio. She's, you know.
I just like I died over her calling Tim the broody one. And then Lucy was like, he's broody. I was just like, oh good Lord, this is so good. This is so good right now.
Yeah. I mean, it looked like Lucy was like considering like texting or calling Tim just to like, you know, be, you know, normal about it, but you know, nothing's ever really normal with those two. So she had the other idea of, I don't know if she like spoofed her own number or like actually got a burner phone or what to do the whole no caller ID thing. Like to text him a photo of the radio. And you know, obviously Tim doesn't know like who it is when he gets the text. But so like the first text is like they figure out that it's like that, well, as Aaron says, it's like really beat up old coffee cart that like Tim frequents, you know, like that's his favorite spot to go because, you know, there's no hipster, you know, energy everywhere, and like it's just plain coffee like for $1 and then you get it and you can go to work. It's nothing fancy, you know, because Tim Bradford doesn't have time for that. And so that was the first text, and then so like the radio is not there. Yes, and he's like, no one's turned into radio. And so then he gets another text, and it's like you can see the like part of the Paramount sign
Yeah.
in the back, and says, okay, it's like on a lot, but you don't know like which lot it is. Um, they do miraculously like find it, and it's like where his favorite movie was shot. I just thought it was fun how they like used like the Paramount,
Yes.
and like they shoot on Paramount. Like I don't know, I didn't realize how many like lots like it encompassed, apparently, that you
Yeah.
can like, you know, use another one when you like shoot, or if they like use their actual lot and just film from the outside or something. I don't know, it was cool. I like the kind of meta ness of that. um and I just thought, I don't know why, I guess Tim Bradford's favorite movie being like an old western is like kind of on brand for him, but also I don't know. He just doesn't seem like the person to like cowboys. I don't know.
That, and when you look up the movie, it's literally Chenford.
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, Lucy doesn't
It
have a
was fun.
kid. Although, I mean,
No. I mean,
lots of
Kojo.
people, yeah. Yeah, it was like lots of people consider like Kojo to be like
Or I
Chenford's
guess Tamara.
kid.
But I think of that as more like her little sister.
Yeah, just like, yeah, just yeah, like friend. Like,
So
I
good.
mean, yeah. But it just like, oh my God, it's just so funny. Like, I don't know. It like fits Tim, but then also like I just was kind of like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know. And I also don't know why I didn't think it would actually be like a legit movie. Like, I
Yeah,
wanted to look it up just to like see.
I didn't
Because it
think
was
that
like
it would
made
be
in the
either.
50s. I was like, wow, okay. Like, way
Also, Tim
before.
Bradford likes old movies, like older movies. Got it. Checking that off. The fact that Lucy Chen knew that, though, the woman knows his personal backstory and his likes and dislikes.
I just want to know like how though, because it's like not like they spend time in each other's like houses and
House.
like, you know, and like, or you know, go to the movies together. Like, I don't know, like how would she
Yeah.
know this, you know? But I mean, it's cool if she does. I just want to know like
Yeah.
how she knows this about him. Oh, maybe Jenny told her. I
Oh,
don't know
maybe.
if that's like, I don't know if it's like technically canon that like they have each other's phone numbers. I mean, I would assume
I'm
no.
I'm going with the fact that it is. Yeah.
But I don't know. But yeah, maybe she just doesn't. I don't know. Um, but yeah. So while they're at, wow, this went on the longest tangent ever. I am Lucy Chen in this moment, guys. Okay, moving on. While they're at the like the set though, Aaron says he's like, whoever's doing this like knows you really well. And then I'm glad the writers put in that like little, you know, Chenford S line, because then as soon as Aaron says that, Tim's like, Chen.
Yeah.
Like, duh, Tim. Duh. Like, who else? Um, and I thought it was kind of funny how like they had like this moment like in between like him like finding out and then the end.
Hmm.
Because like I kind of thought like, oh, okay, like they are gonna meet up and she's just gonna give the radio back, like, you know, it's gonna like everything's gonna be fine. Um, but when they do meet up in the station, he like wonders if, you know, Lucy holding his radio hostage was like payback for how tough he was on her as a TO. And
The fact
Lucy's,
that he like automatically went back to that though,
yeah,
like thought of that. That was his first thought.
yeah. Well, I just love how she's like still acting coy. She's like,
Hmm.
I still don't know what you're talking about, but I can certainly help you. Like, you know, look for the radio if you tell me what's going on with you. And he's like, for the last time, like, I'm fine, everything's fine. Like, what is it, you know, like, what does this have to do? Like, just he's over it.
Yeah.
Um, but I love how she was the one to kind of just like huff and like turn around really quickly,
Uh-huh.
grab the papers or the folder or whatever, and she's like, but I don't know what happened to the radio. Just like storms out. I'm like, Lucy Chen, your girlfriendness is showing.
Yeah.
Like, they just crack me up. and like her going to Aaron again. And it's like, listen, I will just give you the radio. You tell me what's going on with Tim. And Aaron's like, well, he didn't even tell me either. Like, I thought that was kind of cool of like Aaron to not, like give in and like just like spill everything. Um, but oh my god, the funniest thing though, I guess I should Aaron like was the funniest part, but then coming in second, in my opinion, is the radio from the 60s that is as big as Tim's head. Like, I swear to God. That was like the most obscene thing I've ever seen. I was like, what
oh my
is
god.
this?
I was not expecting him to get that out. And I was like, wait, we're really doing this right now?
It took me a second to like realize that it was a radio. I was like, why does he just have this like random block? And I'm like, oh, that block has an antenna. Oh my god.
So I tweeted last night. I was like, that is one big antenna. And I saw people like commenting back and they were like, that's what she said or whatever. I was like, I wasn't thinking that though.
That's hilarious. Oh my god.
Oh gosh, I love this show.
It was like, it was ridiculous, but it was really funny. And like you would think that like Tim would have gotten the last word, because he's like, this is fine, like this is what I'm using, like, because Lucy's like, well, that's not standard issue. Like, it may have been in the 60s, but it's not now. And he's like, it's fine, it works.
Yeah.
But I mean, technically Lucy got the last word because she got her picture of it when she like was like calling on her radio. She's like, 7 out of 100, like, respond. And then he just looks at her.
He just deadpans it.
Yeah, just doesn't even blink. And I'm like, again, this is why I could not be an actor, because like I would bet money on like either Eric or Melissa just like breaking.
If I was in True Spot, I would literally just be like busting a gut. Like, I would just be, I mean, that's just too dang funny.
So funny.
Well, and like he had rolled up the window and everything. Like he was
as
not
if
having
like that was gonna like block her view. I'm like, dude, it is a clear like glass, like
Oh god, I just like I just know that they have a lot of fun filming scenes. Like, I just know it.
So funny. Yeah, and so add that to the. I need someone to make like to add that to like the Chenford like photo moments. Because now we have a season 5 one. So yeah. So that was that. But we did get the nice like moment that people were talking about on Twitter, already buzzing about, because they had, found Chris by the door, which again, I'm so shocked that I didn't notice that.
I know. I was just so focused on Chenford and them looking at each other and coordinating, and yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So Lucy kind of pulled a Tim Bradford in a way. Like, she kept the radio like her whole entire shift. Like, he kept her ring for a couple weeks, and she kept his radio for a whole shift. But she does hand it back to him in like the parking lot, and she thought torturing him would like get his mind off whatever was bothering him, but she should know better not to get involved in his personal life. But Tim like does turn around and like tell her that he and Ashley did break up. Well, she broke up with him, and Lucy's like sorry about that, like for him. He did appreciate the radio thing, and they have their like shared little smiles with each other, and Chris comes out and interrupts that moment. And I don't know like no, I guess it is in character for Lucy, because she just wants to like include everyone and everything and just try to be nice and extend a hand whenever. But I'm like, why in the world would she think that Tim would want to be a third wheel on the date? Like, what?
Also, okay, that was one of the Chenford moments where Chris was around and Lucy just completely like ignored him and was just like, let me just like talk to Tim and like make hard eyes at him. Like, come on, woman, be louder, please.
I mean, like, even when her arm was like attached to Chris's or whatever, they're like walking back into the station, which was also odd because I would think their car is like the other way. But anyway,
Unless it was like in another parking lot, like on the
Yeah.
other side of the station.
I mean, they still did the look, she still looked back. So, although you
Loud.
know what though, like, because they were getting Mediterranean food, I don't know if Tim would even like Mediterranean food based on
He
how picky
probably
he
wouldn't.
is.
But like also, I mean, I
But
can see
still,
her asking him just to kind of like be nice and like maybe it was like a little bit of an awkward moment, you know?
hmm
Because I mean, I don't know. I feel like I would do that. Like,
yeah,
okay, this is awkward. Like, how do I get out of that? But
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
don't
It
know.
was just, I don't know. It was just, you know, like,
They're
I mean,
they're insane.
they
That's
are
literally what
really.
they are. Yeah.
It's like someone else, gosh, I remembered Amanda on Twitter. I can't remember who pointed out, um, like Tim's like foot kind of not like
Stomping.
stomping, but like kind of like it slid
Yeah.
across the pavement and then slid back again and he kind of just like tapped it down.
And his turn backwards.
Yeah, and his hand dropped from his backpack. So it was just like sitting on his shoulder. And I'm like, dude, you have it bad. Lucy has it bad. The
It
both of
almost,
them just need to get it together.
yeah, just, yeah, push them
Really.
together, make them kiss. It almost, so it kind of paralleled to Lucy like taking the radio away and she's like, fine. Like, if you won't tell me what's going on or whatever. Like, in earlier in the episode when he's like, where's the radio?
Yeah.
Like, her kind of stomping and like walking away
Yeah.
kind of paralleled Tim's.
Yeah. Yep. So they're both just like, saying a lot without saying anything, but I need them to actually like talk about their feelings
Yeah.
soon, please. But yeah, there's good moments for Chenford. And like I said, Aaron was like hilarious, and I wish True Valentino was on Twitter more so he would see all the love that he gets every week
Yes.
from like the fandom in general. It's just so good. But yeah, those were all the Chenford crumbs that honestly, I mean, they made up a good portion of the episode.
Yeah.
So I mean, it didn't really feel like crumbs, but still lots of good moments.
Yeah. Oh God. They are literally so insane. Like, so we got two good mornings from Lucy, and
Yeah,
she's like, "Good morning," like just so
yeah,
sunshiny. And the one where she's like looking at Tim, and Chris is literally right there, and she's like smiling at Tim,
yeah.
and like, I mean, come on,
I
that
mean, she
just
like kind of ignored Chris like both times, like in the parking lot and then
yeah.
in the station before that. Like,
Again, dude, like read the room. She's not into you. She's just not that into you.
I'm
Like,
just
read
choosing
the
to think
room.
that he has like blinders on because he's like
Smitten
in
with her.
deeper than like she is with him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, listen, the Tim and Ashley breakup last week, yes, it was great. I don't like how Ashley did that
it
because
like
that was
came out of left
pretty
field a
bad.
little bit, but
But
only
like,
because we hadn't seen her in 2 months.
yeah. But like also when Chris and Lucy break up, like I will be cheering and I will become a very different person then.
I still just like think it has to be like Lucy breaking up with Chris, like because like Ashley broke up
Hmm.
with Tim, so it's like I kind of want it to be the opposite for
Yeah.
them, especially since Chris has been like oblivious
Yeah.
unless he finally like wakes up
Yeah, I
or
was gonna say
comes
that
to
or
the
it's like a
moment.
mutual breakup.
Yeah, or
like
that. Yeah, I can
like
see
he
that.
just realizes that she's not really into it and as much as he is like he just can't have that or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but God, they're so loud. Like I last night I just kept saying like Chenford is literally insane. Like they're doing this right in front of Chris's eyes and the dude just doesn't even bat an eye about it.
Yeah.
And in front of Aaron's eyes. Like Aaron has to realize at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, but I think he will next episode because that promo. Oh, we're getting Lucy undercover twice this season, and it's not even the
Mhm.
mid-season finale. How
Yep.
blessed are we?
Yep. Doing all the things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So next we have Bailan. And I gotta say, I'm not hating, like, I didn't really hate them before, but like,
They were
I'm not,
cute.
yeah, I'm
Just for
not,
fun for
I'm
them.
not disliking their scenes this season. They're
Mhm.
not as cringy, I guess I should
No,
say. Yeah.
definitely not.
Um, and I mean, I can handle this Bailan more than the cringy lines about her undergarments. So
Mhm.
yeah. But we start off the episode and they're having a contest to see where they're getting married. And John's like, oh, well, we're getting married on the beach. Like, I can call that right now. But Bailey wants to get married in New Orleans, in the French Quarter. And so this first contest is to see who can make more pancakes. Their scores are tied again. So, they're like, well, we need another contest. And John's like, is it possible that we're too competitive? Which kind of like reminded me of a Lopez line or something, because Angela was like, do you think that we fight a lot or something? And Wesley was like, well, maybe it's our thing. Um,
Yeah.
but the next competition is to see who can eat the most pancakes. Like Bailey just kind of thinks of it on the spot. Um, and so John meets up with like Selena at the station later. And so, they talk about like how she's tired and everything. And this kind of like goes into the Bailan stuff, like just because they're patrolling and Selena like says that she found an article online. And so she's like, no screens, thermostat at 68, meditation, like lavender oil, that should all help. And so they like get a call, they respond, that's after John has says the red light and everything. And so they get the call, they see Bailey, and then John's thinking that their next competition could be like a Lego building one. And Bailey's like, you were a contractor, like you built houses. And he's like, yeah, but not out of Legos. And so then she suggests something more intellectual, like learning a new language. And he's like, you taught English in Kyoto, Japan. Like, no, that's not gonna work. And so then Balin's next competition later in the episode is with hot sauce, which is not a very smart idea to begin with. And
No.
he's sweating while she's like keeping her cool. And she's like, you forget, like, I've literally been on fire before. Just like drop in that little nugget, no big deal. So he loses by running to the fridge for milk. He's like, can't do it. This was a really bad idea. So Selena's at the door and she's like, I can't sleep. Like, as soon as I close my eyes, all I can see is, you warning me how dangerous it is for me to be on duty half asleep. And she's like, I don't know what else to do, Nolan. Like, gotta help or whatever. And Bailey's just like, talking to her, offering her tea, says that chamomile knocks her out. And John relays some of the conversation they had earlier in the day. And he's like, well, actually, like these things should help. And so Bailey's like, how is static noise going to help her get to sleep? And so they kind of make a bet for it. And before they can really start it, they look over and Selena is asleep on the couch. So John's like, let's call it a tie. And so then Selena and Bailey are like talking the next morning. I loved this moment. Also, I just like loved seeing Selena like out of her uniform. I don't know. It just was my favorite. And so Selena and Bailey are talking, and Selena's like, I got great sleep, like felt right at home. And so she's like, hearing John and Bailey bickering would always put her like hearing John and Bailey bickering reminded her of her parents bickering, and that would always put her right to sleep. And so she was telling Bailey about her dream, and she dreamt that Winslow was a showgirl and they were dancing the tango and all of that. And so then like they break down the dream more, and Bailey's like, is this really how you solve cases? And no one's like, I guess we'll find out. Like, and it ends up working. Like Selena has solved cases like this in the last few episodes that we've seen. So then at the end of the episode, Bailan is dressed as Captain America. And I don't know, I guess it was like a couple's costume. It was just like matching costumes. And Bailey's like, just admit it, like I wear it better. And no one's like, you always wear everything better. And he adds that he didn't agree to compete over that. Which, like, okay, I didn't think about this at the first watch, but this Bailan line and their banter I can handle. Like, it's not cringy. Her saying, like, I just admit it, like, I wear everything better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it can have some different inferences, but, like, it's not as cringy.
Yep.
So then Selena shows up again, this time in a onesie or like a costume onesie. I don't
I
know.
think it's, oh gosh, someone can correct me if I'm wrong. This is what I get for working at a library and seeing this movie come in so many times. I think it's like the Red movie. Like there's the main like little like fox or like animal is like
Okay.
a red fox that's like angry all the time, but like not really.
Yeah.
Like underneath all that anger is like all the, soft emotions.
Yeah.
So I think that was who she was supposed to be. But I mean, it was a onesie for sure.
Oh,
Like
it definitely was.
the hood and everything. So
I mean, onesies can be Halloween costumes.
yeah,
My niece was wearing a onesie, like a Tigger onesie. It'd be
yeah.
fine. So then, Selena's like, can I sleep over again? Like, I need more sleep or whatever. And no one's like, I'm not sure that's a good idea. But Bailey's like, you said that like she should be operating on good sleep, right? She's like using his lines against him. And so John's like, yeah, I guess you're right. And so Selena gets invited in. And as she's walking to the couch, she even brought her own pillow this time. Like this. Oh God, I love Selena Juarez. I love her so much. So like as she's walking to the couch, she hears Balin like bickering and she just smiles and she just knows that like she's having a good night. Like okay, again on my second rewatch, I was like, this is everything that we could have had for Upset and Rojas.
Literally,
Everything.
shut up, Jennifer. Shut up.
I'm sorry. I literally made myself so emotional after that. I was like,
Oh my God.
I'm done. I'm
Well, like,
done.
see, my whole thing is like if there's ever like a selfie that like Nathan and Jenna and Lisette like have, like, and then they'll post it, and then I'll
Okay,
just,
no,
or
no.
like Chess, or like, I mean, it'd be like slightly more like applicable if it was like Chenford. So like Eric and Melissa post a selfie with Lisette.
Carrie.
But I'm just
Now,
saying, well, okay, because like
now
I'm
you
still bitter.
stop.
I didn't get my selfie. Like Thomas and Britt didn't post a selfie together, so I'm still bitter about that from last week. So
I mean, she
I'm just
still could.
manifesting like other
Yeah.
selfies from like the Halloween episode in general.
I mean, she still could post a selfie. I don't know how possible it is, but like she very well could.
True.
Who
Or
knows?
like RJ and Nakia and Carson in like their costumes.
I don't know. If we get like a group selfie of like, Jenna, Nathan, and Lisette, like I probably will lose it. So
That'd
yeah.
just be fun.
Also, you told me to like stop talking after the upset
I
Rojas
know, I'm
thing.
sorry.
No, you need to just no.
I
No,
will
I love
hush
you.
now too.
No, I love you. It's fine. It's fine. We
Yeah.
just put each other in our feelings. No big
Mhm.
deal.
Yeah. Yeah. So many things.
Yeah.
So many things. Oh, you know what I just realized though is like Gray was not in this episode. So like
No, he
he
wasn't.
gets to recuperate, but like Tim's
Yeah.
like back. Oh geez.
And he's like, it was a major surgery. Dude, no, it was. They operated near your spine. You were paralyzed. You were like attacked and paralyzed.
Yeah.
No.
But it's like fine, like but Gray has food poisoning, but it's fine. He's out for a time. I don't know. I'm just curious as to like if Richard just like didn't like couldn't film like for the week or something. I don't know. Cause like I feel like I don't
It
know.
was
Like,
funny. I never realized that.
well, because like Gray and Luna would have like a fun like couples costume. I feel like.
No, Gray
Like,
was in
didn't
this
see
episode.
Luna. What?
Yeah, when he was talking to Nyla or to James and James had Leah. He was talking to him about like getting her started on something to get her into college. But
Oh
that was
right,
all
he
that we
was.
saw.
He was.
That was all that we
Wow.
saw though.
Yep. Nope. It was super quick. My bad.
But it wasn't anything like
Super quick.
substantial. It wasn't anything substantial.
Yeah. Totally forgot about that.
Now
That's true.
Gray had
Because he was
seen
like, you need to be like, yeah, because James is
Yeah.
walking. Yep. Nope. I remember now. Never mind.
now Gray had
Scratch that.
seen Chenford doing all their antics and like,
Yeah.
Lucy taking the radio, he would have like
Oh
called
my
him out
God.
on that.
Yeah.
I have a strong feeling he would have. So
they're just like missed opportunities
They
for
are.
like his like one-liners.
Ugh.
But anyway, I
We
think you did
we
make good
love this
points.
show so much. We do. We
Yeah.
do.
Hmm. I mean, he gave James good advice.
He did.
Although, I mean, Leah's like this tiny, and he's like,
Yeah.
you gotta prepare them for the future so she could, you know, get into a good college and have all these opportunities and do all these. And James is like, okay, like they're just dropping by, but you know,
Yeah.
he means well. He does. Um, although, like when he mentioned Dominique, I was like, okay, can we have a Dominique like appearance again, like, or like Henry, because like John mentioned Henry, and it just makes me think of like all the kids that we haven't seen
Yeah.
anymore. Because like we barely got like Lopez's costumes like last year, and then like, well, they had enough to deal with on Halloween or
Yeah.
the day before Halloween, so I guess I can look past it. And there's no baby Jack either. Anyway, okay, it's fine.
Someone had commented, they were like, wish that we had got to see baby Jack. I was like, well, we got to see baby Leah well before we got to see baby Jack, like as far
That's
as
true.
age wise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is true. Yeah. Um, yeah, so for like Nyla's part of the episode, like we had said, like James was dropping by the station. He was talking to Gray first about, you know, Leah's future, even though again, like I said, she's like so tiny. But you know, he means well. But like I guess really why James, well, he had like technically two reasons for dropping by the station. Like the first was Nyla like had to take Leah to like go feed her since there was like an issue
Mhm.
with the breast milk. And she's like, you mean the milk that I was up at 5 a.m. pumping? And he's like, maybe.
Which like he never copped to it, but I was like, the dude totally like spilled it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm
And
assuming he like just some kind of
yeah,
mishap happened at home and he was
yeah,
just like, oh no,
yeah.
emergency. Um, so that was like the first thing. Then he's like, okay, I had this other thing because apparently Lila's friend Jenny canceled like trick or treating. Um, and Nyla was like, okay, so you have a theory, I'm guessing. He's like, well, I think that, you know, she may not like that, you know, you're a cop or that, like, you have, you know, a gun in the house. And she's like, well, I don't really like, she's not really like, she like won't admit that she like might actually give that some consideration, but she's like, no, like that's not, you know, whatever. Like Nyla's very much like, if someone has a problem with me, like they can come to me themselves and
Yeah.
sort it out. So she doesn't really, you know, like this whole like through the grapevine stuff. She did, you know, she's not for it. Um, although she does think the Angela suggestion, like later in the episode, of like having James invite like Jenny's family over for dinner because, you know, everybody loves James, like could work in their favor. And you know, even though people love Nyla too, she can be a little bit terrifying. But you know, apparently that's why she and Angela get along so well.
Hmm.
So, you know, they're BFFs who can sometimes be a little intimidating. Um, and then it's like the next time we see them, well, like it's Nyla, James, and Lila are like finishing like setting up their Halloween decorations in the yard, and like James announces that the Reeds have canceled like the dinner plans too. Um, and Lila was like, well, because they're still on the fact that like they think, oh, okay, well, it's because like Nyla's a cop. Um,
Hmm.
but like Lila jumps in and says like Jenny's parents told her that, well, Jenny's parents told Jenny that she's like, I don't think it's like safe to, you know, be around that area because like James hangs out with criminals according to them, even though it's just like the people from the community center. So it's like
Yeah.
people that, you know, he's trying to help. Um, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to go over there now. Like, nope, we're gonna go talk to him. He's like, no, 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 wait a minute. And like I just thought it was nice that like Lila was kind of the one to like manage to kind of calm her down a little bit, because she's like, even though they think that, doesn't mean like, that it's true, and that, we have to, hang around with them anymore. Like, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, like Jenny, was your friend. And she was like, she was. And I just like felt bad for Lila, because I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not fair. Like
No.
it, because like they were friends, and it's like they have like this prejudice,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just like can't, like, obviously can't be changed, because it's like they extended an olive branch and they just like
Yeah.
stomped right on that too with the dinner invitation. So it's like they really just can't get past it. Um, but like Lila's like happy to be out trick-or-treating with James and Nyla and everything. And the whole family's out, and they have, these fun costumes, and everything's turns out okay. It also turns out that James was likely the one that TB'd the Reed's house.
I like how again he didn't really cop to it, but he
Yeah, he
was like,
didn't.
it's
Yeah, because
interesting.
now it's like constructive, huh? It's
Yeah.
like yeah.
Yeah.
So that was like good for them.
But also I really hope that he got Silas to help him do that.
Oh my God, yeah. It
We
was
need
so
to see
funny.
Silas again, please.
Yeah.
And
He's-
Tamara. Like Tamara's been MIA.
Yeah. It was just so funny. It like just like took me back to like, because we would like TPing was like a thing that I did in like band around the fall time.
I've only TP'd one house, and that was my cousin's boyfriend house because she wouldn't go out with us one night. But I don't even think I really TP'd it because
I
I wouldn't
really was
stay
not good because
quiet.
I couldn't. I mean, I could throw, but I'm so short that like it
It
wouldn't
didn't go
really.
anywhere.
Yeah, I really didn't. Like, I have a good arm from like softball
Yeah.
and stuff, but it really, I would like, get a tree branch, and then the rest of it would just kind of fall down.
See, I wouldn't stay quiet. Like my mom, because I was with my mom and my aunts, and they were like, Jen, like, shush. And I was like, I'm sorry, this is just funny.
Yeah,
But
that was
yeah,
hilarious. It just like it
yeah.
just reminded me of that. I was like, oh, geez, memories. Didn't do it all the time, but there was just like one year. I don't know why that was the thing that was done, but apparently it was. So, you know, fall festivities, I guess. Even though if you really think about it, it's such an odd thing.
It is.
Like if I really just stop, I'm like, why?
And ever since the pandemic, like TP is like gold. Okay.
Yeah,
You
like
don't like waste
how?
that.
Yeah, or just why? Like why toilet paper?
Yeah.
Like why? Like couldn't you just like get, I'm thinking like receipt paper or something.
No,
Yeah,
that's not as flexible.
that's true, I guess.
But like
Yeah.
also, I don't know, it is just like
It
a waste
messed
of
me up.
toilet paper. I don't know. I'm just being like the logical one here. And I'm like, I don't know, I wouldn't want someone to like waste all that toilet paper. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, so
But
that was the end for them. And well, the end of, not the end of the actual episode, because like you said, that was like Wesley's thing, but
mhm.
the end of us talking about the rookie episode,
Yeah.
aside from the listener thoughts that we have next.
Yeah. Oh God, this episode of The Rookie was good, but I feel like they've all been good this season. They always are because it's just lighthearted. Yeah. But Valerie had said, I loved the episode. The pranks and banter are back. Really liked the competitiveness of Nolan and Bailey. I've heard and said, if you're scared, say you're scared quite a few times in my life. And it was really nice that they helped Selena get some sleep. And Thorson really adds to the humor. He does. I love it.
Yeah. Ricardo said it was weird that Lucy asked him to go eat with her and Chris. Like like she forgot she and Tim nearly slept together. Lately Tim called Lucy only by her last name. I miss when he calls her Lucy. Yeah, I do too. I miss that. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
so like funny. Like they just like, there's just like this direct like line. Like there's the before 501 and then like the after 501. And it's
Yeah.
just, like two completely different Chenfords.
Yeah. Well, and even like after 501, Lucy's like, but we almost, and Tim's
Yeah.
like, no, but we didn't. Like they acknowledge it, but even then they're just like, let's just put up that wall and let's just call each other like Chen and Tim still or whatever. But yeah. They're just, you guys, they're like clueless. They're oblivious and they're in love. That's what they are. So Blessed Turtle had said Bailan's competitiveness and bickering really helped fill the Chenford shaped hole in my soul. And I very much appreciate that. Say, like, their banter was kind of comparable to Chenford's in a way. So the lawyer, she said, or they said the lawyer really put Lopez through the ringer, didn't she? Wes was not kidding when he called her ruthless. And then speaking of Wesley, wow, the tiny glimpse we got into the kind of person he was in the past was shocking to say the least. Just like Harper said, I also didn't think he'd have that in him to cheat. Not the Wesley I've known for the past 4 years. Same, I was thrown off when he said that. It was like, oh, okay. But also, like, I mean, we all change. We're all different people than we were, years ago or whatever. So, yeah. I kind of was like, okay, I can look past it. Like he's obviously changed, but also Wesley, that's not a good look, man. They also said Nyla and James were good in this episode. I wish we got a little more with them though, but that's okay. They more than made up for the lack of screen time with the ignorant and possibly racist neighbors subplot. They said, then we have Chenford. So glad they're finally speaking to each other for more than 10 seconds again. Lucy's incessant prying and Tim's relentless stubbornness was a joy to behold. I was smiling the whole time. The bit with Tim pulling out the old radio as a replacement had me chuckling the entire time. I was not expecting that. Like, just, yeah. They said, then their final scene. What more can I say than the angst hurts so much? If this doesn't happen by mid-season, I'm gonna lose my mind. The looks, the implied feelings bubbling just under the surface, the hurt look on Tim's face when Chris showed up, the both of them looking at each other after going their separate ways. Good Lord. Same. It has to happen mid-season. It just has to.
Mindy had said it was a great episode. I really liked getting more backstory on Wesley. He freely admitted he made mistakes in getting out of his engagement. I love that he said he'd never cheat on Angela because he loved her, not because he was scared of her. Yeah. She said this might sound horrible, but I liked seeing Elijah again. There's just something about the chemistry Brandon and Sean have. Yes, I agree. I'm so bad. I'm like, yes, I know he's a bad character, but I just love seeing those two on screen.
Yeah.
It's just so good. Yeah. Mindy also said enjoyed seeing J. August Richards as the DEA agent. His story was touching, and I was so happy he got some closure. Selena and Bailan were just comedy gold, and loved seeing baby Leah. Wish we could have also seen baby Jack.
Yeah.
Mindy really liked Aaron riding with Tim. They're just such opposites that it works. And Chenford was great as usual.
Yes.
Yep.
So do we have any other notes on the rookie?
Nope.
It was a solid episode. It was good.
It was.
So now we will dive right into the rookie feds. So this is covering episode 105, Felicia, and we'll start off with Simone and Carter undercover. So they're undercover in the West Indies, and Simone comes up with like drinks, and she's got a whole backstory for Carter. And he tries to rein her in, and she's like, even with your legs out, you're still a suit. And so they're basically there to extradite Bernie Barlow and bring him back to the US to testify against New Genius Industries. He was their head IT guy, defied a subpoena, and fled the country. And so Inspector Denby comes up and he's in uniform, but Carter's like, I told you I wanted it to be a covert op. And Demby's like, you have no jurisdiction here. Like, you surrendered your badges and guns, and it's my operation now.
Yeah, I love how he was like the only one to kind of like tell Carter like the like shut up
Yeah,
for a second. I was
yeah,
like, oh, no one can tell Carter that, really.
yeah. So then Simone like spots Barlow, and they're on the run after him now. And so instead of running, Simone's like, well, screw that. Like, I'm gonna hop on this four-wheeler. And she ultimately like cuts him off from running. So he like stops, and then he tries to run again, and he falls to the ground because he's got a cramp in his leg. It was just, it was a comedic like cold opener. And so then Carter calls Garza, and the assistant U.S. attorney, and he's like, look, like, I got Barlow in custody. And so Barlow like asks, how much it'll take to get them to let him go. And he's like, I'm not being forced to testify. Simone's like, yeah, you are, and you're not gonna bribe me. So we see Dina call Simone, and Simone tells her that like Dina tells Simone that she kind of mentioned, them dating to her mom and the sneaking around isn't right. And Dina's like, my mom's kind of cool with it. Like, your dad might be too. And Simone just doesn't think so. She's like, well, I want to tell him before your mom does. So Carter comes up and, tells them that they're down there. And so like Simone's got to go. And so he notices something is wrong with Simone, and like she doesn't say what it is. So Barlow is quick to admit like what's wrong. And she's like, you won't testify against New Genius, but like you have no problem throwing me under the bus. And so then Demby's like, I'll escort you guys to the airport. So like they're driving, and Carter and Barlow are in the back seat, and Carter just like does not want to listen to anything else that Barlow has to say. So
No.
they're like following Demby and his crew. Barlow's like trying to make small talk, and Carter's like, if you shut up right now, I will give you my peanuts on the plane. And so Barlow's like, well, I'm allergic to nuts and prison. And he's like, can we not be in like such a hurry? Like, I'm cool with not getting there so quick. And Barlow's like, I have a daughter. Like, he talks about how he only sees her every other week. And he gave his all to New Genius and like wasn't around as much. And so then like he also drops the nugget that he lost his house betting on a llama race, which like that's a new one for gambling. That's
Yeah,
a
I've
new one.
definitely haven't heard of that like ever.
Yeah. So then Demby like goes off track, and and then men like get out of trucks that ambush them and cut them off. So it turns out that Denby sold them out. So Simone's like, well, I can get out of this, like, watch me. And so she leaves the gunmen in the dust, like literally. And Carter immediately turns to Barlow, and he's like, who were those guys and what do they want with you? And Barlow's like, how do I know? Like, how should I know? So Carter calls Garza and tells him what's going on. And, so Garza's like, well, just try and lay low. Like, it's a small island and there's eyes everywhere, but like, you have to be careful and trust no one. So Carter tells them that New Genius has to be behind all this. And Garza's like, yeah, we have to assume that your devices are being tracked and that they're listening to the conversation right now. So Garza's like, just destroy the phones immediately. Like, essentially, you have no guns and no phones. And so Garza's like, somehow just get a burner phone, like, and then call me when you do. So Carter like immediately throws his phone out the window. He asks for Simone's too, and she's like, okay, but can you upload my beach selfies to the cloud first? And Carter's like, sure. And he's just like, yeet the phone out the window.
It was the funniest thing ever. It gave me such like, Tim Bradford when
Yes.
he like threw Lucy's paper out the
Yeah.
window. I was like, he didn't even, and then it's like, oh my gosh, just like James did that so well. And then like Niecy's delivery of like, not those clouds. Like he, threw it up at the sky or whatever. I'm like, oh my God. It was just so funny.
I love this dynamic duo like so much. This episode just like sealed the deal for me on them, because
So
even
funny.
Simone being like, damn, Carter, like you're still a suit even when your legs are out. Like, oh my God, it just cracked me up.
Yeah,
But then like when
from the
he just,
beginning, it was
yeah,
just so funny because he's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Like
yeah.
their backstory. Oh my God.
But like he just like gave no F's and just like threw her phone out the window. Like it just, It was so funny. It was so
Didn't
perfect.
even like look at the like
No,
home screen to like even make a move to like
no.
unlock the phone to get to the phone. He's like,
He
nope.
just he just yeeted the phone right out the window. Like
Yep.
it was so funny. So then, Simone's like still upset about her selfies getting lost, and Carter's like working to put together a little shelter or something. And he's just again not having it. Like this man is literally at his wit's end between Barlow and Simone. He's like, I'm so done.
Yeah.
And Carter's like, well, I saw a little street market like about a mile back, so I'm gonna go and try and get a burner, like to call Garza. And Barlow and Simone are supposed to stay there. And Simone's like, no, I'll go, like, because the smell of fed just like radiates off of you. And she's like, I'll blend in better. And Barlow's like, I don't want him to stay. Like, I want Simone to stay. And Barlow's like convinced that they're gonna die. So Simone like reassures him that no one's gonna die. Carter's like, and she looks to Carter for some trust. And then like when, oh my God, their scenes just kept getting funnier and funnier. So like when she goes to like walk away, she like does a hair flip or whatever and like hits him in the face with her hair. And he's like, bye, Felicia, or whatever.
Yep.
And it was just too
It's
good.
just so funny because like Barlow's like, I don't want to die with it. I want to die with you. At least if I die with you, it'll be fun. And I'm like, oh, that sucks.
Right?
Like, oh my god.
Oh God. It just oh I love Carter and Simone. Like I love and I just love that it's gonna stay platonic.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's just so
Yeah.
funny. Like I just, oh my god, it just, yeah. I didn't think I could like anyone. I mean, like, because like I said, I'm totally fine if like Brensen says platonic. Like I'm totally
Mhm.
cool. But just like yeah, like you said, like they're so funny, and it's just like
Yeah.
platonic, like friendship, like. But they just work. They're actually like working together so well,
Yeah. Yeah. And
despite
like,
their opposite personalities.
yeah. And like the comedy doesn't feel like forced or like
No,
the
oh my god, it's
like the
so
quips
great.
between them. It's definitely like organic. So
Yeah.
yeah. So then like Garza, Elena, and Brensen are all looking for a way for like Simone, Carter, and Barlow to get out of there. And Elena ends up getting a satellite feed from the rerouted Polaris 7. And so Simone ends up getting a burner phone, calls Brendan. They're able to get to like find her on the feed.
Yeah.
So Denby's team like comes up, surrounds the market. The assistant U.S. attorney comes in. He's like, while they're in the middle of finding Simone, and he's like, our other two witnesses like fell through, and Garza mentions the tidbit about Barlow and says Nugenius is trying to do whatever it takes to kill the case. And so he asks the attorney to contact the State Department in case they need a diplomatic solution. So the attorney guy is on that. So Laura's like, I found her and, tells her about the two entrances, but one's blocked. And so then Brendan's like, there's another way to get out, but that doesn't work either. Elena then finds that there's a flying dress shoot going her way. And Laura questions it. And Brendan's like, well, it's when women photograph themselves with long trains flipping in the wind.
Yeah. I'm like, he knows about that, but he didn't know what the for list was. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, pick your battles.
I was like,
Like,
wait,
what?
that doesn't make any sense. Like, how do you not know what the other one is?
Yeah.
So Simone goes under the woman's dress train and gets out of there, which like, I mean, I don't know. It just like it reminded me of, in elementary school, like back in the early 2000s when you had like that big like rainbow like
Yeah, with the thing,
thing.
and you'd like lift it up
Yes.
and everyone run underneath it. Oh my god, yeah, that's what I thought of when I saw it, and I was like, wow.
It reminded me of that. And I was like, that's like a core memory, like unlocked. And I don't know if I should be proud of it or not.
Yeah, it like looked like she was just like going like into the sun because it was just a bright
Yeah.
yellow. Like it was just
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then like she hops on the truck and takes off from there. And Garz is like, I'll send coordinates for you to make your flight. So Simone like pulls up and what did she say? Like, get in, mother cluckers or whatever.
Yeah, she's like, get in, mother truckers. I'm like, wow, that's a nice way to throw that in there.
I literally,
Besides
and
this
this
view.
scene just kept freaking getting better. So there isn't enough room up front. So, like Carter and Barlow have to get in the bed of the truck. And Carter looks at Barlow dead serious and he's like, it's head to toe, my dude. Like, it's head to toe in here.
Yeah.
And Barlow just kind of looks at him like, okay. And so then what, Barlow like gets him first or something?
Yep.
Carter's like not even helping him like get it
Nope.
up into the truck.
Nope.
So Simone, Carter, and Barlow are just magically on the plane going home. And Carter's like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, why is New Genius after you and not the others? And Barlow's like, again, how would I know? Carter's like, you're still hiding something. Like, we can figure it out. So Simone pieces it together that he's not hiding from the government, but hiding from New Genius and doesn't want to talk about it. So Simone starts like asking him about his daughter, and he drops the nugget that like he keeps his bike equipment in the ex-wife's garage. So Simone like keeps that to like, puts that in her mind. So then like, I don't know, Simone just like calls Cuddy while they're on the plane, and he like already knows about her and Nina, and he is not thrilled. So then Ruth comes into the call, and so does Barlow, and he she suggests a double date. And so, or Barlow suggests a double date because like this dude doesn't know when to just stop talking. And Ruth's like, I think that's a great idea. And Cuddy just like hangs up after Ruth leaves. So Simone and Carter get back with Barlow, and Gar's is like, what's up with your outfit? And so Carter like starts explaining it, and he's like, whatever, like we've got Barlow. And so then the assistant U.S. attorney tells Barlow that like he'll be under protective custody, and Barlow just like reminds everyone that he's not testifying. We then find out that he'll do serious prison time if he doesn't. So Simone like takes him into another room, and she figures out that like he welcomes the consequences. And she's like, but why would you sacrifice more time away from your daughter? And so she puts it together that New Genius paid him off to disappear. And so he's got something on them, like enough dirt to give his daughter a good trust fund. And so Simone then brings up the nugget about how she lost her dad to the prison system when she was 14 for a crime that he didn't even commit. And like when he was exonerated 8 years later, the city gave him a big check, but like that didn't make up for the time that they lost. So she tells him that they should cooperate, that he should cooperate, and the DOJ will cut him a deal. And so Simone gives him an ultimatum that if he refuses to testify, she'll like tear his financial life apart, and she'll find that money that he wants to keep and like take it away. So then it turns out that Barlow is at the assistant attorney's office working out a deal, and like, he knew more than they thought. And it turns out that New Genius had a new billion-dollar proprietary resin for artificial bones. And he has like a hard drive of proof that the lab results were doctored. So Garza like comes in, tells Carter and Hope that they need to, or yeah, tells Carter and Simone that they need to see what he found. And he had a friend of the DOJ open an investigation on Inspector Demby and trace the phone records to find out like who hired him to go after Barlow. And it wasn't anyone from New Genius Industries, but actually Alan, the assistant U.S. attorney. So Carter can't believe it, but like, he explains it explains how they got those witnesses, including Barlow, and how Demby knew how to look for Simone at the street market. So Garza calls Alan's office. Turns out him and Barlow left to get a hard drive that has all the evidence on it. And so they're not sure where he is. So it's not official because like the government has already seized all the evidence, but Simone remembers what he said about his bike equipment in the ex-wife's garage. And so lo and behold, Alan and Barlow are there, and Barlow gives him the drive. And so Alan's like, well, I'm licensed to carry a weapon, so I'm going to tell the police that like you came after me. And so he points the gun at Barlow, stuffing on the hard drive, and then like he crushes it. So Carter and Simone like bust in at just the right time. And Alan goes behind Barlow, like holding the gun to his head. When asked why, he's doing this, he's like, well, I'm broke and need the money. And Alan's like, I'm not going to prison. Like, and he's taking the gun, like, he puts it actually like behind Barlow's head and like goes to shoot him. But then Barlow just like headbutts him. And he's like, wow, that actually worked. Like, I didn't think in the movies it actually worked. And so Simone asks if that's the drive, and we find out it's not the only one, but like he'll tell her he just has to negotiate a better deal first. So Simone and Carter are walking out with Barlow, like after, I don't know, I guess he like got exonerated or something, and he's like, yeah, feel like I need a job. And so Carter's one-liner of like, we don't hire criminals, we arrest them was just too good. I mean, I don't know. I didn't think it was as good as like the others earlier in the episode, but like it was still good. So Barlow's like, I've got full immunity. And Carter's like, or Simone's like, yeah, not until you tell us where the second hard drive is, though. So as he's leaving to go bike riding with his daughter, like he hands Simone a piece of paper with the location of the second drive. And as the elevator door is closing, he tells Carter, "You still suck."
See, that was my other favorite line though, because that was just pointedly like at Carter, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, strike
Yeah.
two.
And he like made sure to give Simone the location of the second drive. It was just too good.
Yep.
So Simone laughs when she reads the piece of paper, and Carter's like, "Where's the second drive?" And we cut back over to the West Indies to see the team sitting there on the beach. The case is closed and they're just enjoying time on the beach. Like it was just too good. Too good.
Yes.
And then we get this genius line from Brendan. And I mean, just like a whole little Brensen moment. And Brendan's like, $2 million payout? I could see myself getting lost here. And Laura's like, anybody know where we can find 2 million for Brendan? The team just like laughs and like she's just never short of comebacks.
Yep.
I just love it.
It was great. See, because like when I mean, I was glad I was right with like the Malibu stuff that like Nisi had posted. And I mean, Kevin posted some too. That like that was for like this episode or whatever. But what I didn't realize, like I thought like Brendan, Laura, and like Garza were like going in to like the island to like get them or whatever, and that's why they were all like, in their own like, beach gear or whatever, not like
Yeah.
just for that literal last scene. Like they had like that's where Britt's outfit came from. That's where Kevin's came from. I was like, wow, they had to like do all that just for that one scene. But I mean, it was good. I was just I was thinking they were like gonna go.
Yeah.
Like go in undercover or something, like, like get them out and then go back. I don't know. But yeah, it was fun. I still liked it. I just wasn't what I thought. But yeah, it was fun. I was glad for that line and like, yeah, just gotta love Laura. I think I actually used that in our like Halloween meme post for her. I was like, come back, queen. Yeah. Oh, speaking of, we should put that in the news that Kevin saw our
yes
Halloween.
Oh my god. I was hoping that he would.
So
yeah.
We just like to think we're fun, and so if you haven't seen that, that's on our Twitter page, and you should go.
I mean, we had to join in on the fun, so
yeah. Well, because like some other people had done like the rookie, and I was like, well, okay, like let's do the rookie feds then, because like they need more love, and it was, I mean, just like how could you not like their characters have a lot already going for them, so I was like, it was kind of easy to come up with different things. So yeah. But yeah, I want more like team scenes with them, like off shift.
Yeah. Please. I don't know. I loved how like they were all just chilling, and like at first we didn't really see Garza.
And I was like,
Carter and Simone and then Brensen.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was fun. I also need to know more about that, like West, like, the team hanging at the beach. Like, was it like for a weekend? Was it just for the day? Like, I just need to know.
Yeah. And I just thought it was funny how they're like sitting in like their pairs, and then like Garza was kind of like in the middle. I was like, okay, that's fun. Like, I don't know. I guess I just kind of would have thought if they were just like all like off shift, or like, well, I don't know. I guess if they had to go there in like an official capacity. Yeah. But still, because like you would think like, oh, okay, like Brendan and Simone would sit by each other because they're, like besties or whatever. I don't know. Not that I'm complaining. I just kind of like just wasn't expecting it to be like, 2-2 and then.
But also, was their stay similar to their last one in Denver, where it was like 2 to a room, like,
Oh my god.
in the cheapest motel? Probably not.
Oh my God.
It
I
cracks
could
me
just
up that the
imagine.
FBI is like that. Cause like, I don't know, I wouldn't think that. But
Yeah.
they also have to like lay low,
Yeah.
as they roll up and like blacked out like SUVs or something.
Yeah, like they have the
I mean, come
Cadillacs or the
on.
Range Rovers or
Yeah.
whatever. I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah. Like, yeah, you guys are subtle. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Um,
yeah, that
yeah.
was it for the burning Barlow of it all.
Yep. It was quite the character. I hope we get like
He was.
more like characters like that, where it's like central to like the undercover story. I mean, maybe this coming week because like they have another undercover
Yeah. Okay, Simone
case.
is going undercover quite a bit, and Carter's like going undercover too, it seems like.
Yep.
I mean, we love to see it though. We love to see
Yeah.
it.
No, it's fun. I love their dynamic. And like I like how in the sneak peek it was like because Carter's just like going and like Garth's making him go just because he like doubts that Simone can like pull it off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, what if you would stop doubting her? Then maybe you wouldn't have to go along. Like it's
Yeah.
that simple, I would think.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
it's fun. Love to see it. Um, so we're moving on to Elena's purse and that kind of also much like the rookie thing like started out as one thing, like the purse started out as one thing from
Yeah.
like diamond heist to murder.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of crazy.
So I won't lie, when I was watching The Rookie, I was like, I feel like this purse storyline could have very well been like a crossover or like I don't know, like a
Yeah.
sequence or something from
Mm-hmm.
Feds. It would
Yeah.
have made more sense than the Rosalind thing. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
saying.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's fair.
I kept thinking that they were gonna find a way to like tie it in, but they
Yeah.
didn't. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But obviously like the first scene we get with them is like the sneak peek that we got
mhm.
last week. Selena brought like she was like brought the person, she's like, have this handbag or whatever, but she like brought it in because she like found like just a few like literal few
Yeah,
like diamonds in it. And she's like, well, I just wanted to bring it in because like this is obviously like not, a good thing, but just want to know like if there's more to it than just this. Um, and she's obviously regretting that as soon as like Laura and Brendan are like ripping open the lining like even further, and there's even more diamonds in it. And
every
she's
time
like,
they like ripped it, she was like, ah,
yeah, she was like, oh no, like
yeah,
I knew I should have kept this to myself. And I'm
yeah.
like, oh my God.
No,
She's such a
I
mood.
felt so bad for
She
her.
was like, oh no, I know you did not just rip my bag. Like she was like
Yeah,
so torn up about it. And I was like, Elena, you are a mood. Um, although it was also funny though that when she mentioned to her uncle, she's like, yeah, the bag costs like $2,000. And he's like, Elena, and she's like, well, like, you gotta do what you gotta do. I
yeah,
like how she like corrected Garza, right? Because what did he say? He say it was a purse and she said it was a handbag.
yeah,
Yeah. Um and so I like their dynamic too. Like I hope we get more of like the like familial like scenes for them
hmm,
too. And so obviously like since there are even more diamonds, this is gonna, open a full investigation on it. So Elena is not getting her bag back anytime soon. Um and so they like take it to like the lab to be the diamonds to the lab to be analyzed anyway. And like Elena is mainly working with like Brendan and Laura on this part. So like those two like go to the lab and they are told that like the diamonds were stolen from an armed courier out of LAX 4 months ago and they're worth like $2 million. And so as they like dug deeper, like they go back to the briefing room and whatnot, and Garza pulled like intel and said that like how the heist went down was like one woman would literally like lay like flat on the ground and like be like in distress, essentially, like causing the people to get out of the vehicle. And then the other, well, they said they use like unsub, so the other unsub would then like tase the driver so they could get the diamonds out from the vehicle. And so one, obviously like two women pulled off the heist, and like Laura was like, an all woman or all female heist crew, respect. And I was like, fair, because like you don't normally hear of like all women like committing like felony crimes. And Elena had like her part of the job was like tracking down like the original seller, like from the website, and the site responded to the warrant, and the original seller of the bag was Denise Palmer. And Garza was like, okay, well, let's like, contact her. And Elena's like, we can't, she's dead.
Yeah.
And like, so she was, Denise was sadly shot and killed in front of her house, like the night of the diamond heist. So like well, I guess more like Laura's first assumption was like that it was a double cross, and like her partner was the one that could have done it. But they do need to like, dig into Denise's life a little bit more and just get a little more background on her. So that's why Brensen like brings in Denise's husband to like question him. And because like it wouldn't make any sense, as Garza pointed out, that like if Denise has been dead for 4 months, like who's the one that sold Elena the bag. And so he had copped to it to like, sell the bag to like, help kind of, move on from, his wife's death. And they're alluding to like Denise being involved since she like worked at LAX. And like, meanwhile, he's like, oh, well, no, that can't be right. Like, I just can't believe this. She would, be involved in this. And like, I was on a business trip in, San Francisco or whatever. Like, I had, no idea what she was doing while I was gone. And so like they kind of just like sort of believe him or like take him at his word, like for now.
Yeah.
And so like a little bit later, Elena had done some more digging and discovered that Denise had met with a guy named Logan Anders for drinks, and he's an armed courier with like the Emerald Security Company, even though like he like wasn't on the like or what they say on duty like at the exact time of the heist. Like they still could have gotten information like from him, and he could have still been a part of it. So that's why Brensen, they have him in the box next to question. And Logan had said that Denise had said her name was Thelma. So Thelma had asked him like about all the things that he did as a courier. And then her friend Louise showed up fishing for info too. And Logan, being the so smart guy that he is, didn't put two and two together of like Thelma and Louise asking for info to commit this crime. Like, oh, it was just funny. Although it gave us a good, Brensen moment of them like smiling, almost laughing at each other at like the comical, conclusion that this came to of like, so you didn't think these two women named Thelma and Louise like that wasn't weird that they're asking you for information.
He also kept being like, she was really smoking, or like, and then he like backtracking. I was like, oh my god.
Every single time he would like glance over at Laura and then be like, I mean, intelligent. He's really intelligent. Or, had a really artistic tattoo. And I'm like, dude, why?
Yeah.
Like it was comical. And so they kind of get a little bit of information because obviously they know that there's like this second they know the second person was like more involved in this part, and so but they don't know like who it is yet, but the tattoo helps since it's like a easily identifiable like marker So Elena was actually able to find Louise through that. And her actual name is Aria Lansing. And she had like called Laura to tell her this, and Laura's like, oh, okay, we'll go, pick her up right now. And she's like, I already did. And then she's like, okay, well then, like, wait, and she's like, oh, well, we're already down at this, the Wilshire station.
Yeah.
And so they head down there to talk to Aria. And I just thought it was like funny how Laura was like, I don't know if I should be threatened or not, like by Elena's like over involvement.
Yeah.
This was fun though, because I liked it kind of like alluded to her like wanting to do more, like
Yeah.
like the end scene that we got with like her
Yeah.
and Garza. So I thought it was nice. And then like Laura didn't give her like slack for it either. So it
Yeah.
was like that was good.
Also, I just need Elena to like stay with the
Oh, for
team.
sure.
Like I need more of her. So
Yeah. So they talked to Arya. She didn't have anything to do with Denise's murder, like because according to her, she was like Denise said that she was going to like unload like her portion of like the diamonds in Belgium, but then just like not come back, like get a one-way ticket. She was gonna stay there, not return at all. And so since like Arya wasn't the one that like killed Denise, and like they weren't really, I mean, like they were like work friends, but like not like,
mhm.
super tight like BFFs or whatever. So it's not like she had like a major personal stake. So it wasn't like, Denise was trying to get away from her.
Yeah.
So then Laura turns back to Brennan and she's like, one guess who this points to, like who else would she try to get away from
Mhm.
other than her husband? And so he's like brought back in. I thought it was interesting that like Laura was like the just her questioning him.
Yeah.
But though she's little, she's fierce. Like
Yep.
she really like she just, set like ran down his profile like
Yeah.
like a boss, and was just like, so here's what happened. Like you drove back to San Francisco, you're to San Francisco, you killed her in jealous rage because you saw her at the hotel and you thought that she was having an affair. So you followed her back and then shot her at home. And he's like,
Mhm.
no, I didn't do that. And she's like, well, here's what else I know. Like,
Yeah.
you're an abuser. Like this, you get angry, you felt threatened, you were jealous that night, and like you did it because you confronted her and you're weak. And then that's when he gets angry, tries to like grab her arm, but she puts him down flat like the badass that she is. So
Yeah.
can't mess with Laura for sure. And so obviously I'm assuming that he's like read his rights, arrested,
Yeah.
and like, put away for that. And so like the end kind of for like the bag, like Garza had like talked to Elena about it, and he was like, so like what was this whole thing about? And she had bought the bag to sell it for like 2 times the price because it's like her side hustle because she has student loans to pay. And he was like, okay, well, like you don't, like, I mean, you make an okay like amount of money, but you don't make, like $2,000 worth of
Right.
enough money to like be doing that all the time. And she's like, no, I know, but I'm like, I'm happy here. Like, don't exactly know what I want to do yet, but like when she does, she'll let him know.
Yeah.
Like he's happy that like to hear that she's happy. So so it was like a nice moment to end on, because I don't know, I just thought it was kind of refreshing, because it's like she's, I'm assuming like a, young 20 something. So it's
Yeah.
like not everyone does know what they want to do right out of the gate. So
Yeah. I just need more backstory on her. Like, how did she get the job? Like, how did she first feel about it? Like, I want
yeah.
more backstory on her.
Yeah. I mean, it was nice. We got the little tidbit of like, she was just supposed to temp there for like a year, and
Yeah.
now it just turned into something, more so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I like that we got to have like an Elena kind of like focused storyline this episode. So
Hmm.
yeah. And then we have Brendan and Antoinette. It was just kind of like a little side storyline. But Laura's like looking over Brendan's case notes and she's like, these are a little fabricated. It's an FBI case report, not fan fiction. Like you should stick to the facts. And I was just like, you go, Laura. Like you tell them.
I mean, as a writer myself, I was like, yeah, Brendan, you go embellish. That's fine. You do you, kid. I'm like, but I mean, I get it. You do have to stick to the facts, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, a little creativity never killed nobody.
No.
So,
I also just like love when she like gives him shit though. I'm just
yeah.
like, I don't know. I just love it. So then we see them get out of the elevator and Laura starts walking to the fishbowl and as Brendan like stops her, they like watch Antoinette and he's like, anytime like I say something to her, she just ices me out. And I'm just like, oh, Brendan, like you just think
It's
that
just so
everyone is
funny.
supposed to like you, don't you? Like you are just a precious little bean.
And I thought it was so funny. He just like stopped Laura from walking just so he could
Yeah.
like tell her this, like, like
Yeah.
persistent like issue that he's having. And I'm
Mhm.
like, dude, what do you think she's gonna say? She's not the warm and fuzzy type.
Yeah. So then Laura's like, well, she doesn't like anyone and just put away like your actory needs to be loved self and like don't try and charm her because it'll just like piss her off more. And Laura's like, the last thing we need is for future lab results like that we need to take a nosedive down on the priority list. And as they're walking away, Laura's just like, you can't win everyone over, like accept that challenge. And I just love how Laura like gets in those one like sassy line and that's just it. Like we don't need anything else from Laura Stenson. So Brendan and Laura like got to talk to Antoinette about the bag and when they see that she's on the phone, Laura's like, okay, well we'll come back later. Like it's not a big deal. And Brendan's like, you're afraid of Antoinette, aren't you? And Laura's like, what? No. Like she deflects by telling him that to be cool. And he's like, hey, I've got this. Like, cool is my
He's like,
middle name.
yeah, cool is my middle name. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Well, when you say that, cool is in fact not your middle name.
Yeah. I'm like, but see, now I want to know like what his middle name actually is.
Yeah.
So,
Well, maybe in one of the next two episodes we'll get that because we're gonna meet his dad. So
yeah.
So then Brendan's like walking back with Laura from interrogating, and here's Antoinette on the phone again, and he like scares her when she turns around, and he's like right there. And he understood some of her conversation and says that he has a bottle of her family's 96 Syrah from his agent, and he just like compliments it or whatever. And he tells her that he's sorry that her family's being so hard on her, and she snaps back and she's like, you should be sorry that you eavesdropped on my conversation. And he tries to smooth it over with French, I think, and says that like he knows exactly what she's like going through. And we find out that his dad forced him into acting when he was a kid. Like it was his dad's dream, and when it didn't work out, it became a dream for Brendan, and he was obsessed with having, Brendan succeed. So Brendan like remembers all of the pressure and he tells her that like he's glad she's pushing back and wishes he had done it sooner. Which like I kind of forgot that we're supposed to meet his dad in like uh episode pretty soon. So I
Think
was like,
next week, or
oh,
I mean tomorrow. So I can't speak.
Tuesday when you're listening to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, is that the episode then with Lucy with the shirt?
I think so, unless I'm thinking
Okay.
about something else, but I don't think
I honestly just get them all mixed up because between the episode descriptions and then the episode like photos, yeah.
if I'm wrong, I apologize, but I'm 98% sure that I'm right.
So then like Brendan's leaving for the day, like after his shift or whatever, and he runs into Antoinette and he's like, I'm happy to see you. And she's like, why are you chipper like all of the time? And he's just like, oh, well, it's my thing. And she's like, it's annoying. And Laura just like walks by and she's like, yikes, but it tracks. And so like he goes over to his desk to see that there's a bottle of wine there, the 96 Syrah, and he just like looks over to see Antoinette looking at him and like kind of smiling. And I don't know. At this point, I'm like, okay, I can get on board with them, but also like, are we doing the angst thing? Because I don't know. I've already got that on one show, and I don't really feel like having it on another.
Yeah. Well, because it was funny that because like when Laura was like, well, like, what is that? And like, who's it from? Was like, nothing.
Yeah,
I'm like, why are you being weird?
yeah, but
But yeah, it was
yeah,
cute.
yeah, that's kind of it for like the Brensen and Antoinette stuff.
Mhm. Yeah. I just thought it was so funny. I was not expecting Kevin to speak French.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I just wasn't expecting it to go there because I thought like it was gonna be one of those things where like Brendan really just didn't understand like a word of like our conversation at all.
yeah,
But then he came back and I was like, okay, never mind.
yeah.
Like he knows what he's talking about.
Hmm.
Yeah. And so we just had a little bit like of an additional like, because there was this Simone and Dina and like Cuddy and Ruth um double date semi disaster because like it was going. Sorry, had a momentary vocal malfunction. My goodness. It was going like relatively well, like
Hmm.
sort of. Although it was so funny though. Oh my god. Like when Barlow like had made Simone like make the phone call, whatever, on the plane, then she's like, when we get to 30,000 feet, I'm throwing your ass out. Like she
Yeah,
was like, I hate you for making me do this. Like, why? But I mean it turned out to be okay. Like the double date's actually going well. Like they're discussing music and like Nina Simone and Simone like looked over at Cuddy and she was like, and you thought it was gonna be weird. And it was like, yeah, yeah. Um, and then his friend Mel stops by to drop off like some more vinyls. And he like kind of makes like an off-putting comment about like mistaking Dina for a guy. But then like Simone corrects him. He's like, this is actually my girlfriend, Dina. But he makes it worse by then like saying, well, he like is turning to Cuddy and like they're like kind of starting to walk away or whatever. So like you think like, oh, okay, maybe he's not gonna say anything else, but he does. He's like, well, she might as well, date a dude. And like obviously this upsets Simone's dad and he like jumps to, her defense, but like Ruth is like bothered by his yelling because like she's been around that before. Like she doesn't need to be around that again. So like she, I mean like so everyone kind of disperses and like obviously the date night has been like ruined um because of that. And like later in the episode, because like Cuddy and Ruth are not like talking like in between like those two scenes at all. Um, but he does talk to Simone and is like, I know I shouldn't have lost my temper, but no one like talks down to, his child. And Simone kind of like asks him, well, like, do you have to understand like why or who I, choose to love? And he's like, no, but he's like, I know I acted like, a fool and like he should have just told Mel that like love is love and that's all there is to it pretty much. Um and so he's like kind of worried, like, well, okay, what if like, Ruth's not going to talk to me anymore? Like, so it's like this dilemma with him. And then Dina actually stops by with flowers and like kind of Simone like starts to assume that they're like for her.
hmm,
And they're actually like Dina's giving the flowers to Cuddy to give to Ruth. Because they're her favorites, and that can, because Dina tells him, it's like my mom, really likes you, and like, these are her favorite flowers. So like, you can, go like, make this like
yeah,
effort. Um, and Cuddy's like out the door in 5 seconds flat. He's like, okay, I'm gone. Like, bye. Um, and then it was like nice because it like allowed Dina and Simone to like have like time together.
hmm,
Um, and she like apologized for like not talking, like not telling Simone or like talking with her about telling Ruth that they were dating. And Simone's like, well, you're not the only one. Like, there's a, the blame can kind of go around. Like, not the only one at fault. And so we got like nice, affectionate moment for them, and like it's just cool to have like a LGBT relationship like portrayed on screen, and like main character, people of color, like, and I mean, I'm sure it's just obviously like that chemistry is obviously natural given that Niecy and Jessica
Right.
are like married, but still it's just like you can just tell like it just flows naturally for them, and it's just cool to see that like on screen.
And again, like the relationship and like her sexuality isn't questioned like it
Yeah.
could be. I mean, it was brought up and like, the guy
Yeah.
like talked bad about it, but
it's like she's not like bothered by, because like she's
right.
just so completely 100% comfortable.
Yeah.
She's like, this is my girlfriend. This is who, this is who I'm going to, date. Might be a guy, might be a girl, might not have, any, gender label at all. Like, she's, what does she say? An equal opportunity lover. So that is what Simone like continues to stand by, and I just think that's, again, just awesome to like have that, like she's not wavering from that.
Yeah. So we just really had like one listener thought, and it was from Mindy, and she said, I liked seeing Carter and Simone continue to bond. Kari is becoming one of my favorites. His friend just played by Tim Russ from Star Trek Voyager, who is an all good guy in real life. Elena and the Purse turned out to be a very interesting case, and I loved getting to see Allison Scagliotti, I think is how you say her name, in her small role. I know her best from Warehouse 13. She also said Brendan and the woman from the lab just goes to show how much sunshine he truly is. Yeah.
I know there were like a lot of people when I had like posted that, like, well, because like Feds had dropped a few more like promo photos of Allison's character or whatever, and I was like, I had to do a double take because like I couldn't believe this was like Mindy from Drake and Josh, and everyone was like, I know her from Warehouse 13 or like something else. Like she does like music, I guess, too. So like she like fronts a band, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like here I was knowing her from like Nickelodeon,
right?
Days, and a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
So I got like some education out of that, so it was cool.
Yeah, she always like played the mean girl like in the Nickelodeon days, because even in like Zoe 101 or something she was in. So yeah. Yeah,
No,
Brendan and Antoinette at the end. I mean, he was just like so thrown off, and I was just like, "Oh, you sweet little bean."
Yeah.
But
then at the same time, he was like, I just am like, I'm chipper. Like, it's annoying. Oh my god, like
so good.
I feel like I just think it'd be fun like if Antoinette like sticks around though, because then it's just literally it's like Brendan's the sunshine and you have Antoinette on one side and then Laura's on the other side being like, stop being so positive.
Yeah, even if it doesn't go anywhere, like it would just be funny to see the three of them and like the women just like gang up on him.
So funny. Did we have any other notes on Feds?
I don't think so. It was a good episode.
Yeah, it was.
I'm excited for next week for sure.
Yeah, me too. I just loved their like,
or not next week,
outfits.
Today's episode.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah. I just loved their like undercover outfits and like the makeup too. I'm always like a makeup person, so I was like, Simone's blue eyeshadow. I was like, here for it.
Yeah.
It was just fun. I just liked all the detail. Like it was fun to see.
Yeah.
So that is it for us. As always, you guys can find us on Twitter at the Shop Talk Pod _ or email us at shoptalktherookiepodcast@gmail.com with all of your thoughts. And you can find us individually on Twitter too. I'm at Kari Hyman and Jennifer.
I'm at JStarK04.
And you guys can also find us on TikTok now. We're at the Shop Talk Podcast _ there. And Jennifer's been posting lots of fun. Well,
Yeah.
okay, not like lately, but like
Yeah.
still, there's like fun videos still that are up there that are like so fun.
I need to get on that.
They're great because like I will continue to say, I know nothing about TikTok. This is all Jennifer's like baby and she's running with it. So, well, it is because I know nothing. Like I will watch TikToks like occasionally, people send them to me, but like that's it. Like I don't have the app on my phone. I don't like peruse the watch again or like watch related ones. Like I'm not that kind of person that like scrolls.
It's a black hole, honestly.
I've heard.
I have so many sounds saved and so many ideas. I just haven't had time to like do them. But yeah, I need to because But yeah, TikTok is fun and it's a huge time waster. But like also I find myself on TikTok more than like I find myself on other social media platforms lately, which
that's also what I've heard from people is like they're like always on TikTok. I'm like, I'm over here on Instagram. Like
I just feel like there's only so much scrolling that I can do on Instagram before I get bored because it doesn't like update. And Twitter, I just feel like is a dumpster fire half the time with like fandom. So
it's also
like, you know what? TikTok's a little bit more fun. It's a little more like engaging with the videos, and my algorithm is very odd. So not odd,
you get a
but
bunch of like just random but fun things.
No, it's like very specific to me. And sometimes I get freaked out by it. So
interesting.
yeah. It's kind of odd, but
and then if you like this episode and Shop Talk, we would appreciate if you guys left us a rating and review. It just really helps us out. And as always, we have our TeePublic store. Lots of rookie merch. I apparently can't speak. I don't know if there are like sales happening. There's usually sales, but we'll obviously like keep you guys posted when there's ones that are going on. But yeah, there's still just like lots of fun stuff. I mean, stickers, shirts, like
you can get any design basically made into anything that you want, like a mug, magnet. It's great.
Yep. Laptop sticker, like or cover thing, like just literally anything.
A notebook.
And next week we will be back covering 507 of the Rookie and 106 of the Rookie Feds. So that is it. We will talk to you guys next week then.
Yep. Bye everyone.
Bye guys.
Go get 'em, boo.